How's it going, everyone? This is the George here, and first of all, Happy New Year. It's now 2026, but I still got one more review of a 2025 movie, and it is Marty Supreme. I saw it a couple days ago and figured even though 2025 is over, the movie's still out in theaters. Award season's coming up, and this is most likely going to be a movie that's going to be in award talks. And I was curious about seeing it because it stars Timothy Chalamet, directed by Josh Safdie, sorry if I mispronounced that last name, who, along with his brother Benny, directed Uncut Gems, which was a great movie. So I figured I'd check this movie out during my break and give my thoughts on it. And this is about Marty Mauser, this great ping pong player who is very arrogant, rude, but determined to prove that he is the best. And he goes through all this crazy stuff and hijinks to get to where he is. And no matter what choice he seems to make, something always goes wrong, whether it's hilariously wrong or seriously wrong. Now, this movie does have a lot of similarities to Uncut Gems, and more so the themes of Uncut Gems, where you have this douchebag protagonist. Forget my language, but he is a douchebag protagonist. He's making all these crazy choices. There's a lot of stressful, uncomfortable moments in the movie. The characters around the protagonist are also terrible people and douchebags, and they're even worse than the protagonist. But the Safdie brothers, whether both of them are directing or one of them is directing, understand that even if you have a protagonist that if you met them in real life, you would despise them. You would not want to associate with them. You would root for their downfall and their failure. They still make you intrigued to see if they're going to go all the way, if they're going to accomplish it. Are they going to fail? Are they going to redeem themselves? Because some of the things that Marty does in this movie, if he did them in real life, they would not be redeemable. Some of the things that he says to certain characters are irredeemable. The arrogance level of him is beyond that of the arrogance of professional athletes today. Like people will say, "Oh, Tom Brady's arrogant," or "LeBron James is arrogant," or "This baseball player, this basketball player, they got nothing on this guy." And Timothy Chalamet plays him so perfectly well. Like Timothy Chalamet is one of the best young actors in the business. I mean, he's 30 now, but he's still young, which reminds me I'm going to be 30 this year. But anyways, he is just terrific in any role that he does, and he did such a phenomenal job as Marty in this movie, and he should be considered for best actor for the Oscars. I almost said best Oscar. And this movie has people that I was not expecting to be in this movie, like Fran Drescher, who we know as the nanny from the show in the 90s, The Nanny, plays his mom. Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank basically plays a fictional version of himself that would have existed in the 1950s so perfectly well. Like, I never even thought Kevin O'Leary could act, but he did it. Gwyneth Paltrow, who hasn't been in anything in quite some time, plays this former actress that's trying to work her way back up, that has a few flings with Marty. She actually does a pretty good job in this movie as well. I can't say there was really any bad performance. These actors portray these characters so well, and each of these characters, they do something unethical or horrible in their own way as well. I mean, as I said, Kevin O'Leary basically plays a fictional version of himself. He's being a douchebag to Marty and having him do horrible stuff to try to prove a point to get into this tournament after he rejects Kevin O'Leary's character's first offer to get to Japan. Now, even though this is about a ping pong player that's trying to become the best, there's really only a couple of moments of ping pong in this movie. There's a tournament, and then there's the thing that happens in Japan towards the end of the movie, and then there's that whole big thing in between where Marty's doing all he can to get there, to get the money to get to Japan and all that. And I have to say, the ping pong moments did work very well in this movie. I always enjoyed playing ping pong. I never really knew that people actually watched ping pong tournaments and were that engaged in them. And the sequences looked pretty cool. And the game seemed very intense and added to the stress of the movie that the Safdie brothers know how to do so well. And they have that in between moment. And for a movie that's 2.5 hours, you would probably think that they could have maybe cut a few stuff. But honestly, I think maybe if they cut down the beginning of the movie a little bit more, everything else is fine. Like that in between where he's doing all this stuff, he's getting into all this crazy situations, he's just making things worse for himself. So even when things look like they're going right at a few points, that stuff was very entertaining to watch. Minor spoiler, the movie's been out for a couple of weeks now, but minor spoiler is a sequence where he's trying to get into the hotel and he finally gets the hotel room. Boy's taking a bath. Him in the bathtub, they fall down, I think like a floor or two into another person's tub while they're trying to give their dog a bath. The dog is fine, but the other guy's arm is broken. And just crazy stuff like that you would think you wouldn't see in a movie like this, but it fits so well despite also being so out of place in the movie. There's a sequence with at the gas station where a fight's gonna break out, but the gas station goes on fire. There's this farmer guy, this redneck guy, that's shooting at Marty a couple times in this movie. Just crazy stuff that you didn't think would be in a movie about ping pong. That's based off a real ping pong player named Marty. Now, I don't know if this stuff happened to this Marty guy in real life, the real Marty. This is a fictionalized version of the character. But if so, then wow. Props to that guy. And, despite being unlikable and doing all this dumb stuff, saying such bad stuff, as I said before, you can't help but want to see if he's going to go through with this and learn his lesson. And the ending, there is an emotional moment at the end. There's actually a couple that I was not expecting and didn't think would be in a movie like this. I think it somewhat makes the character slowly start to redeem himself, but you still are like, is that really enough? But again, this movie proves that even if you have a douchebag protagonist surrounded by even worse people, you can still have a great movie. Because I've heard this thing where apparently movies that have unlikable characters are bad. Shows that have unlikable characters as the main stars are bad. And maybe that takes out some of the enjoyment. This is going to be a weird example to share because it's completely different from Marty Supreme and anything the Safdies do, like Uncut Gems. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, that cartoon from the mid 2000s on Cartoon Network. Very good cartoon, but for a lot of people, what tuned them out was the main character, Blue, was so unlikable. And I get it, but just because the main character is unlikable doesn't mean that the thing is bad. As long as the product has a great story, a great look, and just great other stuff. I don't know how much more I can say about it. I think you're fine. And Marty Supreme is so well made. It captures that 1950s time period so well with costumes, how the city looks, how the cars look. The actors portray these characters so well. The stakes, the stress, everything's done well. And I can't say this is my favorite movie from 2025. For me, it's Sinners. Sinners was probably my favorite movie. I had a blast with that movie. But this is probably around second, third, because number 3 on my list as of right now would probably be Weapons. But I think Marty Supreme was a better movie than Weapons. So I'm ranking it slightly above. I might have to rewatch Weapons again to get it more fresh in my mind. I haven't seen it since it came out in theaters back in August. But it's definitely one of the best movies of the year. And I think of the movies that I've seen, because I haven't seen every movie that's come out in 2025, it's probably the one that will probably most likely get the most nominations for the Oscars, whatever awards it's going to get nominated for from whatever award shows. I usually just follow the Oscars. Golden Globes, I've kind of lost interest in. But overall, Marty Supreme is an excellent movie. The 2.5 hours don't feel like they drag on. There's really no dull moments in this movie. I think the beginning might have been a tiny bit slow, but besides that, very entertaining, whether it's ping pong, crazy antics, chaotic decisions that Marty's making. If you haven't seen Marty Supreme, I highly recommend you check it out. It's one of the best movies from 2025. I'm going to give it an A. And even though I haven't reviewed it on this channel, I did mention it quite a few times. You should also check out Uncut Gems. That was another excellent movie that both Safdie brothers directed, starring Adam Sandler. That was a movie that I think should have gotten Oscar consideration. Adam Sandler should have gotten some Best Actor consideration, even though Joaquin Phoenix deserved to win it for Joker because they came out the same year. But anyways, what do you think of Marty Supreme? Have you seen it? What do you think about it? And what's one of your favorite movies from 2025? I basically shared my top 3 in this video, but what are some of your top 3, top 5, number 1? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe or rate if you haven't, and please share this with someone that's into movies, wants to check out Marty Supreme. And I'm hoping this year for 2026, I put out more content. I know I didn't put out a lot of videos in 2025, but I feel more motivated, looking to improve a lot more. Sorry, this year, do other content besides just talking movies. I want to talk more comics, like I said I would, talk more video games, and hopefully I'll get a chance to do that. And soon do a live stream on my Funko Pop collection because the holidays are over, and I figure now's the perfect time to share the Funko Pops that I have gotten, including this recent holiday season. But until then, stay tuned and take care, everyone.